Hey guys, good morning and welcome back to another episode of Port Talk. We are here with a good friend of ours out of my hometown, Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, Tarasa Hurley. Thank you so much for joining us on this episode of Port Talk.
Thanks so much for having me. I'm really excited to be here.
Yeah, we're excited to have you. I mean, it's just always good to talk to someone from my hometown. It's been a long time since I've lived there. I am super interested to dive in with you, just kind of the market updates, where Pittsburgh stands, surrounding areas. For me, I never got into the business in Pittsburgh. So I got out of school and kind of got the heck out of Dodge and moved south. So I'm super interested to dig in with you. And I think let's just rock and roll. So for me, just to start it off, I mean, tell me a little bit about your journey into the real estate industry. I mean, is this something you always wanted to do or to kind of happen? Give me a little backstory so we can get the listeners going here.
Got it. So, so I guess it kind of started in college. I was in my master's for clinical counseling, and I got recruited for Ryan Homes, which is a new construction uh, home building company. And so I worked for them for a couple of years, and then I stayed home with kids for 10 years. And then during COVID, my family was driving me crazy. So I needed to leave the house. And I decided to get my real estate license and jump back into real estate because a lot of the sales reps that I had worked with 10 years prior had gone into real estate. So I thought that was a natural transition.
Now, tell me more about the COVID experience because I think that's interesting when you talk about that because so many people, if I've been in the business for about 15 years, so the ebb and flow of our real estate industry is when it's good, people get into it,
Mm-hmm.
right? Everyone thinks it's just an easy gig to get into it. So you had that past experience, you dove full into it. How was it initially getting into it during COVID? Because that's also an interesting time when we talk about where back then when you were with Ryan Holmes, you get to meet and touch people and, really get to interact. So you were getting into the industry when you literally couldn't show houses. You couldn't meet people at coffee shops. So what was that transition coming from the Ryan Homes into real estate in a very unique time frame?
It was very weird. So, for example, all my classes had to be online. I really couldn't have any interaction with other agents, which looking back was really kind of crazy that I just jumped into this without even talking to anybody because you couldn't talk to anybody
Yeah.
back then. So jumped in, did my classes, uh, went in, and then of course everything kind of with the shutdown, you couldn't really show any houses. We were very limited. Everything was masking. Everything, if you had a closing, everybody had to be in separate rooms, and it was very weird.
Different
Yeah,
times.
different times. It was very weird in an atmosphere where you think it's like we're in business now. We have to build this relationship, and we pretty much had walls saying you can't build relationships really right now. So it made the process a little harder, but I think it was good to have that. And when I got into the business, I really only wanted to sell like 6 houses a year and have coffee with my girlfriends. That it was not my plan to build a big business. It kind of just started a snowball effect, and then we started going downhill, and now I have a pretty big business, which is great.
That's awesome. Well, that's a good tie-in, right? So getting into the business, Ryan Holmes, getting into COVID, where it was a unique, really time for all of us. What are you currently observing now in the real estate market? Obviously, it's wide open. We're back to normal procedures. Um, that's what I want to kind of understand, especially in your market alone.
hmm So right now, we're not quite back to normal. We're kind of on different levels of trying to find out what our new normal is. But some things have
Yeah.
not changed, and that's the relationship building is still always key to our interactions and our feature benefit sales and finding out motives. So we can't sell anything if we don't understand the motive behind why our clients need to buy something. So that stays the same. Um, I think you need to dig a little deep. It's gotten harder. It definitely has. So the people that got into the industry, uh, because it looks so easy to sell houses, they're finding that it's very, very different market. But that's not a bad thing. It's always an opportunity. So the people that work hard will always end up on top.
See, I think it's a good point you just said because there's so many people that see too much TV. I always tell a lot of our agents that work here or anyone I interact with, I think there's too much TV out there. There's too much facade of what our industry really is and how hard it is to get a buyer, like you said, that initial relationship to the closing
Mm-hmm.
table. Right? It is a very difficult job. And I think the other statement I liked is the opportunity and the timing of what's going on in the industry, and I'd love to hear about your market, is just the inventory as we know it is just condensed. There's so little inventory out there right now. And that's the opportunity, I think. And so I want to hear more about really what you're doing to build those relationships because, during COVID, there was a period that there was more real estate agents in the entire United States than there was active inventory, right? And I'm sure you remember that statement. Like that was crazy for all of us to understand that.
Absolutely.
So, what yeah. And so, what are those things that you recommend in these ups and these cyclical cycles of our market? Is there something that maybe you recommend to other agents out there to maybe, the ups and the downturns and the swings? Is it really the relationship building? Is there anything else that you really focus on?
So it is a relationship building. It is honing your skills as a real estate agent. It's not easy. It's not coming easy. It's not selling sunset. It is real life out there. We have to spoil our sphere. We have to spoil our people. We have to go back to basics and get on the phone. There is no easy way. If there was an easy button, believe me, I would push it, but it's not there. It
Yep.
still takes the work. It takes the calls. It takes the 26 touches on these internet leads to get someone that is willing to get on the phone with you to build that relationship. But it's there. You can absolutely do it and it makes sense. It's just you have to do the work to get there. So spoiling our sphere is definitely a big one. We like to do events. We like to do giveaways. I'm just doing a pie giveaway this week. Um, we 75 pies, yeah, is our order for this month, which
Okay.
is really fun. People get to see us or we drop them off. So it's a great relationship builder right there that not only did we work together well, but I'm still here for you. I'm still supporting you. I'll still be here when you need something. And when you need your next house or when your mom needs a house or when your cousin needs a house, I'm here.
Yeah, I think it's an important outlook that you have because in the world where, NAR, there was a big lawsuit that a lot of people are talking about that's out there that kind of diminishes us as a whole in a brand because there was lack of value that was there. And I think that's really neat that what you guys and your team focuses on is the relationship side of it because it's so important when someone sells and buys a piece of real estate once, twice, maybe three times in their lifetime, they've got to be able to trust you. So I think what you're saying is a big part of your building and relationship building is that ongoing touches throughout a given period. Is that correct?
Absolutely. And it's not only for
Yeah.
our clients, it's for our vendors too. So all these events that we have, like in the summer, we had a really fun beer event where I rented out like a beer garden and we all came and had like a picnic.
Nice.
I invite our vendors to these too because they are our partners. It is just as
Yep.
important for me to build a relationship with my clients as it is to build a relationship with my vendors because I count on them if we run into a problem to have my back. So, like my handyman, my title company, the lawyers that I have to use sometimes, those are all very important people, and we build our relationships with them too.
I love that because I think a lot of people forget that. I think a lot of people out there, agents, don't just focus on the one dimensional client side, right? It is a big step of the process that we always go over, especially like a new home buyer. And you think about all the steps when you have that first interaction with a home buyer, how many times and how many questions you answer from start A to Z to get them to the closing
Mhm.
table, and how many times you talking with the lender, the closing attorney, the home inspector, all those different vendors throughout a process. And it's so cool that you spend more time just as much as on the client side as the vendor side and
They're,
treat them like
yeah,
true partners, right?
absolutely. They're partners. And when we run into
Yeah.
problems, I need them to sometimes go above and beyond.
Answer the phone,
Yeah.
right?
Huh?
Yeah. Yeah, answer a phone,
Exactly.
when you need it, when there's stuff, when there's fire burning, you need people to pick up the phone and help you.
Hmm. So, with that
Awesome.
relationship building, I also wanted to say it's important to be part of our communities too. You should be known in your community, not just as a real estate agent, but as someone who helps move your communities forward. So, I recommend becoming part of boards and charities and going to those events and adding and benefiting your communities. It might seem like something that takes up your time. that takes up your money, but I'm telling you, it will come back to you because you are helping make your community better, and people recognize that.
People recognize it, not only just the people that own the houses, but people I think that are looking to move to those
Hmm.
areas. And I think that's all part of what an agent should do. And it's really cool that you focus that in my hometown of Pittsburgh, making it a better place, my family, my friends, all values, because that's the stuff that I think a lot of people don't credit is the hard work that you put
Hmm.
in to make your community a better place, right? It's not just saying, hey, I just sold this house for $180 a square foot or whatever. It's like it's building that network so that other people want to move there. And that helps escalate home values as well.
It does.
And that's another big part of what I don't think people credit agents like yourself and your communities of doing those things. Because that all impacts when, oh, just COVID changed the world. No, it didn't.
It didn't.
You had a huge impact of selling, but it was also making those things during tough times during COVID, you know, making it a good community. So I think that's great. I think that's a lot. It's a huge tip for a lot of agents out there to make sure that you are focusing not just on their clients, but on the vendors, but also building a really good community around you.
Absolutely. It's our jobs. It's not just a job. And this is kind of where the NAR and the lawsuits and everything kind of,
Yeah.
diminishes our input in our community, but we are we have a very important job and career. We help build communities, and that is
Yep.
key. And that's something that we have to keep remembering, is that we have a huge impact in our community, and it's your obligation to do it to the best of your ability.
And it's important. It's so, so important. I think that, like, just because we're not actually in a hospital doing surgery and saving someone's life, but you're also helping build crazy financial wealth and stability for homeowners that bought houses 10 years ago, 20 years ago, because of the work that you're putting in, not just buying and selling. You're putting in the kind of dirty work behind the scenes to make sure that these homeowners have great, great value in their family and generation, and building that generational wealth through things like that.
Mhm.
So
Absolutely.
that's awesome. So now let's twist it a little bit. So you spent a lot of time with the organic, with the people, the touches, with your vendors. Now, with a big shift in real estate, tell me a little bit about what you do and your team with the AI,
Okay.
the spooky AI stuff, with all the real estate. So how are you incorporating, you know, because I think what your core business is, from what I'm hearing, is a lot of the personal, the relationship building. But for you and how you've grown your business, how much of that AI are you incorporating into your business now?
AI is really exciting. And when people say they're worried about it, it's mostly because they don't understand it. It's not ever going to replace our jobs. It's not ever going to do that. It's never going
Because I think that's what everyone always thinks
to.
about. All jobs are going away. Tressa will never have a job. The real estate agent is going away. There's a robot that's going to go put a sign up and sell the house, right? That's what everyone always thinks, that we're going to be non-existent because Zillow came out with a Zestimate. Everyone can, but that was
Yeah,
wrong. They were really wrong actually on
exactly.
that stuff. But go ahead. Sorry.
So I agree with you. It's not going to replace our jobs. It's actually a very cool tool that can help you do your job even better. So, for example, we use AI in content creation. So we use it
Mm,
for search engine optimization. And so one thing that I do when I list a property is that I do a 20-minute, usually about 20 minutes, a video tour. So I take Chat GPT, there we go. And
yeah.
I use it to take the transcript out of that video to help with the first draft of the listing description. So it's not going to, like, you can't just type in words and have it give you something that's perfect, but it works really well as a first draft for a lot of things. And then it's always easier to rewrite something when you have something in front of you. So if you feed it
Sure.
facts, it can help write that first draft for you. So I find that it's a very big time saver. Not perfect, but definitely helpful.
So it's a booster right now. You're using it more as an accelerator to just help speed things along in your process of the business, correct?
Yes, absolutely.
So okay. Um, anything else that maybe you're using it for, or is that really the main, with the SEO, chat GDP, is there anything else that you really use that for, or just right now that's the main focus for what you're
Those are
incorporating the
kind of the
AI?
main focuses right now.
Okay.
Um, The search engine optimization is a big thing for our website. We write a lot of articles, a lot of blog posts. It helps me with writing the first draft of a lot of those things much faster than I would by myself.
With you as a high level expert in the Pittsburgh area, what other things are you doing? Because I know initially when we were speaking when it started about training and maintaining the high level of productivity that you're having. On a monthly, annual basis, are you using certain resources, reading books? Do you have mentors that you reach out to, in your industry to kind of maintain that high level of, productivity that you have?
Yes. So I'll tell you, just like a sports player or just like an athlete, sports player, CEO, I think it's important to have coaching at every level when you're trying to achieve something better. It's always great to have someone who is that next step or maybe 5 steps above you telling you it's like, this is how I did it. These are the steps I take, and I'm going to help you along the way. So I'm a big fan of coaching. So I have
Are you getting coaching weekly, monthly? How's that
weekly.
work?
I have a
Okay.
weekly coach, and then I have two different coaches. I have a business coach, and I have a business growth consultant. And I rely on both those people to help me grow faster because they have more experience than me in building what I'm hoping to build someday.
Wow.
So coaching is
Very
definitely
cool.
key. I think it's always important to be reading and educating yourself. So like some of the books that I read recently are The One Thing. I really do love that book. Grit, uh, Radical Candor, and I'm currently reading The Road Less Stupid.
We all need that one,
I
I
think
think.
so. But
Yeah.
it's very different as I've gone from a real estate agent to a team lead. It's a very different skill set. So I'm trying to gain some of those skill sets I need to manage my team as it grows bigger and bigger.
So how many agents in your team do you have right now?
So I have 4 active agents. I have an
Okay.
admin, an ISA, and a tech lead,
Yeah. So
and
these
a transactional
people
agent.
are and they're okay. So all these people, they are looking up to you to always provide some sort of direction, right? So
Absolutely.
and I think that's what we're talking about, the ups and
Mhm.
downs. I think it is so important that every agent or every business owner out there, for the most part, becomes a true expert in their space because how much it changes,
Yeah.
right? The way that you were with Ryan Holmes versus the way you were in COVID, I guarantee is a different team leader today than it was, say, 3 years ago.
Absolutely. We all grow together. And it's important to
Yeah.
know that it doesn't matter what phase you're in your business, you have to always be bettering yourself to be prepared for the next level.
So, with the team in mind, with your transaction, all your coordinations that you have inside, tell me a little bit of what you think in your mind. What do you think the perspective is on the future of real estate? Do you see any, I guess, maybe emerging opportunities that are coming about? Um, it doesn't have to be global, more or less, maybe just specifically in Pittsburgh that you think that are emerging right now.
Um, so let's see. I would say,
It's okay. So I was going to say,
sure.
give you some ideas. I was going to say in Savannah, it's all, so like it could be nothing, right? I'm also curious too. Is sometimes it's just, hey, Pittsburgh's what it was. It was an old steel town, and now maybe there's a little tech. But I always kind of think like Pittsburgh itself is that grit town. I'm born and raised, so I know it's the middle to low. Like that middle blue collar kind of lifestyle. Like it's just always kind of maintained that level. But like here in Savannah, like to give you a perspective, where I live in Savannah, in Georgia, Savannah, and I'm not obviously from here, but in the last 10 plus years, we talk about what happened from 2010 and the downturns of 08, 09, 10. And then you talk about what happened in COVID. COVID exposed our market. For the first time in Savannah's long-standing history, Savannah finally became that city that wasn't a skip over city. Savannah always, people moved from the South, from Ohio, from Pennsylvania, and they would go right to Hilton Head, South Carolina. They would go to Florida or go to Atlanta, the big markets. But we were always that skip over city. But now people realize cost of living, culture, food, just really how amazing Savannah is. And so now we have this like crazy global footprint where buyers are moving from all over. So for us, it wasn't just now selling to the local Savannahans, it's now selling global. So really the big shift in our market was is making sure that you're doing things like these podcasts, getting your name out there, building your brand, because that's the importance for us. I think we shifted is people are coming from all over, right? And they want to learn about all the hard work you're putting into your community and things like that. So, that was kind of what I was getting to. Like, has Pittsburgh, obviously from the 70s and my grandfathers all worked in the steel mills, and I know there's tech companies and
Huge.
the value. So have you seen like a real shift in the last,
Absolutely.
recent years?
So we are now a tech hub. We have Facebook, Google, we have all the major insurance players, we have huge hospital systems here. So we've really started shifting from more of a to we really started shifting more from a blue collar area to manufacturing to really this tech medical hub. So we have a lot of people moving here for work, which is fantastic. So yes, it is really important to be branded online to make sure that people can find you when moving into the area, because those are great people to target because those people don't have real estate agents here.
Also, yeah, true. And also, like, I'm just curious too. So you're in the Wexford
Uh,
area, correct? So does your team focus in that area? It's north of Pittsburgh. Do you guys go all into Pittsburgh? How far and where do you guys really focus for you and your team?
we go all over. So we go all the way up to
Okay.
Newcastle, all the way down to the South Hills. So we cover a very large area. Because when people say
All
they
right.
want to
This
move to
is
Pittsburgh, a lot of times they have absolutely no idea what that means. So then we have to do a lot of educating. We have to know our area very, very well to explain it to someone who's moving to the area. Because what they
I
want,
always got
uh,
mad. Well, I always got mad because I grew up literally in the South Hills of Pittsburgh. When people are like, "Oh, I'm from Pittsburgh," and they find out like, "Where are you from?" Harrisburg. I'm like,
no,
"What?
yeah,
That's not."
that is
Or
no,
like
it's really,
wherever, I used to always give, yeah, like, no, that is kind of far from Pittsburgh,
really.
but oh, it's the closest city or something. Like people would always say, things like that. I got a good chuckle out of it.
Hmm.
Um, well, let me ask you this. This is the $1 million question. This wasn't on our prep sheet, but have you or your team sold a house in Baldwin?
Yes, of course.
Yay. So that's where I'm actually from. So for a lot of you that won't understand, that's where I grew up in Baldwin, went to Baldwin High School. So I just wanted to make sure that we had an expert in Baldwin.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's a great area.
Yes,
It's so neat
that's
because
amazing.
we in Pittsburgh, as you know, we have so many different neighborhoods and they are very, very
Yeah.
distinct. So it's really important to know our market. And we are not on a grid. So it is hard to figure out your way around Pittsburgh if you have not been here before.
Awesome. Well, I appreciate you answering that. I know that it wasn't on the chat list, but let me ask you. I want to kind of end it around and
Mhm.
bring everything full circle, right? And you've talked a little bit about your family and how it got started was you just want to do like 5, 6 deals and hang out with your friends. Right now, you're running this just high productivity business and an amazing team. But how are you still separating work and life, right? That's the big thing. I'm married. I've got 3 young kids under 8. So how are you running such a good team and producing at such a high level, but still having that good work-life balance? Is there something that you really you and your husband have like you walk in the door, you throw your keys and you don't touch things? Like, is there stuff that you focus on to keep that good balance?
So I think it's really important because, as you know, our business tends to be about 24/7. We work when everybody else is not working because that's when they need our time. So I think it's absolutely important in this business to have a very supportive partner. And luckily I have one here. Pull him in.
Yeah. Bring him in. There he is.
So Brian is not
That's
only
awesome.
my husband, but a Google engineer, and he is in charge of all our SEO and advertising and marketing. So we partner on a
That's
lot of
awesome.
things, and I think that really helps that we can both be part of this business, part of our home business, and just kind of make it work. When one of us needs to pick up the slack, the other one can. And it's when I have listing appointments, he goes and gets the kids. So it's very much having a supportive partner is important in this kind of role because we have
It's
to
amazing.
jump on everybody else's schedule. And I know that a lot of people are like, you have to maintain that time, you have to turn it off at night. But we help people, and sometimes we have to help them at late hours at night. And I'll always do that for my clients because that's what I love to do.
Yeah, and I think too, because you talked about relationship building, I think I just want to add something to what it is because I think that's stuff that we focus on is as you've grown your business too, you're working with the people that I would, not putting words in your mouth, but most likely people that you want to work with,
Mhm.
right? People that respect you and your husband and your children. So I always try to put that out there is that when you're working with people that don't have a good amount of respect for you and your family, it's probably not someone that you want to work with, right? So I would imagine that everyone you've worked with, because you've built that relationship and that trust, and that comes bringing it full circle to all those events, those touches, dropping off a pie, like those people respect that. And I think when it comes to it, when you're in a heavy transaction, if you've done that work over the time, I got to believe that those are the people in your business and people that you come across respect you. And if they're calling you at 9 o'clock, it's probably like, hey, don't, that's probably not like, I need you to pick this up now. It's probably like, hey, if you're not doing, if you're not doing bedtime, whatever the case, can you please call me?
Mhm.
I mean, I think that's for me, I always throw that out there. It's like, if you focus on the people that you want to work with, it's amazing how much better your business grows.
Yeah, being honest, has everybody has their timeline, everybody has important things in their life. It's honoring that and making that visible. Of course, I wouldn't want anybody to skip their kids nap time to come see a house. We'll work around each other's
Yeah.
schedules because it's a partnership.
Yeah, being upfront, and there you go. That's right. It's a good partnership, and if they don't respect you as a business, as a wife, as a mother, it's probably not going to be a good relationship, anyways. So it's always setting those expectations, and that's kind of stuff that I've always done over the years. Is say, just so you know, if this is a first time release, hey, at 6 o'clock, I've got to play daddy, I've got to play husband. So between 6 and 8, I really do put my phone down, and I hope you respect that. And if you can't, then I just don't think we would be a good fit. But it's setting those expectations early, I think, is a big important part too.
I always have to get better at that.
I think we all do because there's no one like you. We always try to make it a 9 to 5, but like you just said, it's virtually impossible.
Mhm.
You're always going to get a call. There's always going to be that property that pops up when you and your husband are out to lunch, somewhere in the south side of Pittsburgh, and all of a sudden, like, in this market, you've got to go
Mhm.
because if not, it's going to hit multiple offers and you're going to lose it.
Yeah, that was the one thing I'll say that I really miss about COVID is literally not being able to go anywhere. It's like, nope, kids, we're in for the night. Let's cuddle up and watch some Netflix.
Yeah, cool. You want to write an offer? Great. You want to see it? No, we can't see it
Yeah,
actually. You just got to write an offer and we'll just do it. Yeah.
just drive by.
Awesome. Well, what other things as we kind of wrapped it up here? I mean, tell me, what's the number one way that people can find you, locate you, reach out to you, and maybe just kind of a recap of what you guys focus in on. I know we talked about a lot of areas in being an expert in the Pittsburgh general area. Is it residential? Is it commercial? Do you do any type of management? Just kind of give me a little final synopsis of not only how they can connect with you, follow you on a lot of your social channels, but just kind of like a little bio,
Okay.
just so everyone kind of has a recap
Well, I
for you.
absolutely love to connect with anyone. I have a YouTube channel, website, Facebook page, Instagram. I have a weird name, so that helps. So it's Tarasa. Pretty much, if you Google that, I am the first 12 pages. I even outrank the flower that I'm named after.
So used to be mad at probably mom and dad about that name, and now it's like,
No,
ooh,
I love it.
thanks.
I
You
love
had
that I own
they
the
were
name.
thinking they were thinking ahead for your future business to have some of the best SEO. They were ahead of their times, I think.
Yeah, so I actually own Teresa.com and Teresa on Instagram, Teresa on everything. So that's the very easy way to connect with me. And I just want to say that
Awesome.
don't give up. It's a tough market out there, but really it's your attitude towards it. It's an opportunity. Everything is a great opportunity. It's just what your goals are focused on. So I'm just,
Very cool. And then like for
Mhm.
Pittsburgh, right? I mean, obviously I just want to end it too because I'm so interested. What kind of growth? Like there's probably so many people in your market and then in our market and globally because of the interest rates. They went up to 8%. There's talks of the Feds going up and down. Do you still have tremendous amount of faith in the Pittsburgh market for the growth that you've seen? And is it a time? Is it the right time to buy or sell in the Pittsburgh
you know what?
market?
It's always the right time to buy or sell depending on what your goals are. So,
Yeah.
yes, we have a little bit higher interest rates now, but they balance out by having more opportunity on houses. For example, you might be able to actually get inspections this time, or you might be able to not have to see a house in 20 minutes and make an offer in 45 minutes. So there's always good opportunity. So even though the interest rates are higher right now, gives our buyers more opportunity to really be sure about their decisions, which is great for them. And on the selling side, the opportunity is we have kind of lower housing stock right now. So if you have a nice house and we price it well and we market it the way that we tend to market our houses, which is really awesome, we're still going to get multiple offers. So it's all about your goals and how we can best meet them. So it might not be the right time to buy or sell, but let's have a discussion. Let's talk about it and we can
Yeah,
figure out what the best plan is for you. That's what I tell everybody.
that's awesome. Yeah, and start it early. It's never like it doesn't cost anyone to call you in the Pittsburgh market to say like, "Hey, just want to see what's out there. I just want to think about maybe buying or selling." It's like, yes, don't hesitate because again, eventually it's going to shift, and whether it's 6 months or 6 years, whatever that time is, always reach out to you sooner than later.
Absolutely. We have a very,
Yeah.
actually, we were just in the news the other day about being one of the most affordable places to buy a house. So Pittsburgh is a fantastic market. We have
Wow.
the tech industry, we have medical, we have insurance, we have all those big industries and all those big companies that are moving here and setting up shop. So for job prospects, Pittsburgh is awesome right now. So it's a great place to relocate your family, and we love great people here. So come on over.
Oh, good. Well, Tarasa Hurley, I really appreciate you, your time, your dedication to honestly the real estate business, your local communities, building the relationships at its core. It makes me proud to connect with someone like you that is such an advocate for my hometown in Pittsburgh. It's just really good to see another professional in our space, but specifically in the hometown of Pittsburgh and the surrounding areas. So keep up the amazing work. Guys, make sure you reach out to her and her team for any real estate needs in and around the Pittsburgh area. I know that we will, going forward, partner with someone like you. So we're really proud to connect with you. I appreciate you being on Port Talk. And guys, any questions, make sure to reach out. Remember, it's easy to find her online, Tarasa. It will come up top in the search
Yes,
engine.
it
So
will.
again, thank you so much. Thank you for all you do for Pittsburgh and all your clients. And guys, I hope you enjoyed it, learned a little bit about the market and in your industry. So thanks again, and we'll see you on the next
All
one.
right. See you later. Thank you so much for having me.